The final two games of this championship series delivered everything: drama, heartbreak, redemption, and moments that will live forever in sports history. Every pitch felt like destiny, every swing carried the weight of an entire season, and both teams pushed themselves to the edge in a battle that had fans on the edge of their seats. The intensity was unreal, momentum shifted with every inning, heroes were made, and legends were written in real time. And just when everyone thought they'd seen it all, the final showdown delivered a twist so breathtaking it left the world speechless. This wasn't just a series, it was a masterpiece of emotion, resilience, and pure championship fire. Buckle up, we're reliving every incredible second. The stage was set, the lights blazed brighter than ever, and every heartbeat inside Dodger Stadium seemed to echo with history waiting to be written. Fans from Los Angeles to Toronto, from California beaches to Canadian rooftops, were glued to their screens. The Dodgers and the Blue Jays had gone the distance, and now, it all came down to the final two games of the World Series, 2 nights that would define legacies, ignite controversies, and deliver baseball at its absolute peak. This is the story of how the Dodgers and Blue Jays gave the world one of the most unforgettable finishes in World Series history. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you love baseball, and turn on those notifications because this one's going to take you straight to the heart of the action, inning by inning, moment by moment, as the Dodgers and Blue Jays battled for ultimate glory. Game 6 started under immense pressure. The Blue Jays were desperate to stay alive, trailing the series 3-2. They had no room for error, and they knew it. Fans back home in Toronto were holding their breath, believing that maybe, just maybe, they could push this to a Game 7. On the mound for the Blue Jays was their ace, Kevin Gausman, who had been solid all postseason. Across from him stood the Dodgers' reliable arm, Walker Buehler, calm and collected as always, but with the weight of the city on his shoulders. From the very first pitch, you could feel the electricity. Gausman came out dealing, throwing high-velocity fastballs that sliced through the air like lightning bolts. But the Dodgers weren't intimidated. In the bottom of the first, Mookie Betts stepped to the plate, locked in, laser-focused. On a 2-1 count, Gausman threw a hanging splitter, and Mookie crushed it deep into left field. The crowd erupted, it was gone. A solo shot to start the night, and Dodger Stadium went absolutely wild. Betts rounded the bases, flashing that trademark grin, knowing he had just set the tone. But the Blue Jays weren't about to roll over. In the top of the third, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stepped in. Every swing from Vladdy looked like a thunderclap, and this time, he connected perfectly. Buehler tried to sneak in a cutter inside, but Guerrero unleashed his raw power, sending the ball screaming into the second deck. It was tied, 1-1, and suddenly the tension tightened again. You could feel both teams trading punches, either willing to back down. By the 5th inning, the Dodgers had runners on first and third. Shohei Ohtani came up, yes, the global superstar who had carried them all year. The entire stadium went silent as Gausman stared in. Ohtani worked the count full. The crowd rose to its feet. The pitch came in, a splitter low and inside, and Ohtani dropped his bat on it perfectly, a soft liner into right field. Freeman scored easily, Dodgers up 2-1. But then, something unexpected happened. In the top of the 6th, with 1 out and 1 on, the Dodgers' defense made a rare mistake. A routine grounder to shortstop was bobbled by Gavin Lux, giving Toronto a second chance. George Springer came to bat and made the Dodgers pay, ripping a double into left center that scored both runners. The Blue Jays took the lead, 3-2, and the entire dugout exploded with life. They smelled blood. The Dodgers tried to answer back immediately. In the 7th, they loaded the bases. Gausman looked gassed, and the Jays went to their bullpen. Tim Mayza stepped in, facing Max Muncy with 2 outs. The count went to 2-2. Muncy fouled one off, stepped back, took a deep breath. The next pitch, a hanging slider, Muncy crushed it. The ball soared into the night sky, and for a moment, time stood still. It cleared the right field wall by a few feet, grand slam. Dodgers 6, Blue Jays 3. The crowd was thunderous, the ground almost shaking under the cheers. Dodger Stadium became a sea of blue joy, fans waving rally towels and chanting, "LA! LA!" Muncy had done it again, proving why he's one of the most clutch hitters in postseason baseball. But the game was far from over. In the eighth, the Blue Jays came storming back. Guerrero singled, Bichette doubled, and then Alejandro Kirk delivered a crucial RBI single that made it 6-4. The Dodgers' bullpen was tested. Roberts called in Evan Phillips to get them out of the jam, and with runners on second and third, Phillips struck out 2 straight hitters. The roar from the crowd felt like a sigh of relief. In the bottom of the eighth, Ohtani added an insurance run with a screaming line drive off the left field wall, scoring Betts from second. Dodgers 7, Blue Jays 4. The ninth inning arrived, and all that stood between the Dodgers and a championship was 3 outs. But Toronto wasn't ready to go quietly. Guerrero Jr. led off with a single. Then, Bo Bichette doubled again, putting runners on second and third. A hush fell over the stadium. Could the Blue Jays actually pull off a miracle? Chapman grounded out to short, scoring Guerrero. 7-5. Then Biggio walked. Runners on first and second. Phillips was laboring. Roberts had seen enough. He motioned to the bullpen. Out came Buster Graterol, the flame-throwing righty known for his emotion and fire. The first pitch? 100 miles per hour. Strike 1. The next pitch, another heater, fouled off. The crowd was on its feet, every person holding their breath. Then came the pitch that sealed it, a 101 mph sinker on the inside corner. Strike 3. The Dodgers took Game 6, and fireworks exploded over Chavez Ravine. The crowd sang, cheered, and cried all at once. The Dodgers were 1 win away from another World Series title. Alejandro Kirk stepped in. First pitch, strike 1. Second pitch, foul ball. 2 strikes. The stadium trembled. Graterol wound up, delivered the final pitch, a blazing fastball. Swing and a miss. The Dodgers were World Series champions. The players stormed the field, throwing gloves into the air, hugging, shouting, crying. Blue and white confetti rained down. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, heroes of Los Angeles. Dave Roberts raised his hands, overwhelmed with emotion. After a season of ups and downs, drama and dominance, the Dodgers stood on top of the baseball world again. The crowd stayed long after the final out, singing, celebrating, chanting the names of their stars. Muncy was named World Series MVP, his grand slam in Game 6 becoming the defining moment of the series. Ohtani's Game 7 blast will live forever in Dodgers lore. For the Blue Jays, heartbreak. Guerrero sat quietly in the dugout, staring at the field. They had come so close, closer than anyone expected, but fell just short. Still, fans back in Toronto were proud. The Blue Jays had revived Canadian baseball, and this run proved their future is bright. As champagne sprayed in the Dodgers' locker room, the celebration was pure joy. Cameras caught Ohtani and Betts laughing, drenched in champagne, holding the trophy together. "This is what we dreamed of," Ohtani said. "This is why we play." The final 2 games of the World Series had everything: home runs, comebacks, heartbreak, redemption. It was baseball at its purest, where legends were made and every pitch mattered.